Hi guys, welcome back to Art with Alicia. On today's episode, we're going to be working with oil pastels. So join me for creation from start to finish. The first thing we're going to be doing is color blending. So what I like to do is teach my kids about tinting and shadings. I have them in their sketchbooks make a value scale. Not necessarily one that goes all the way from black to white, but just within that color. So right here I have purple, and we're just going to take this all the way to black. So I like to start with my lightest color, and as I get further this way, where my next color will begin, I like to ease up on my pressure so that that blends in more nicely with the next shade. So over that pink area, I also like to take it a little bit further in there so that it becomes a smooth gradient. And I'm going to continue doing the same thing right here. So I'm basically starting with the heavy pressure, and in both directions I just ease up on the pressure. And then my final color, black. So this is a really good way to teach kids value scales and also the difference between shading and tinting. So this is shading because, of course, when you shade, it means you're adding black. For the next color blending, we're going to go from our color all the way to white. So now I'm starting with my darkest color, easing up the pressure as I go down. I go with my next color, going in both directions. Easing up the pressure as I get further down. Okay, and I know this paper's white, so if you're teaching tinting, you might want to do it on a colored piece of paper. But my pastel was kind of dirty, so you can still kind of see right here where the white is. And I usually have them do a scale going from one color to another color and just creating a gradient. So here, let's go from the red to the purple. All right, so I'm starting with my red. As I go down again, easing up the pressure, I go with my next color. So I chose pink because that's a good transition to purple. Chose my lighter purple. Easing up the pressure as I go further down. Okay, so here are 3 different ways of blending color: tinting, shading, and going from color to color. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is sgraffito. When you're doing sgraffito, you want to put a light color down first. And you really want a nice solid block of color. And then on top of that, you want to do a darker color. If you get these little crumbly things, I call them cookie crumbs, so I tell my kids, don't bat your cookie crumbs off because then it's going to smear all over the place. So I teach them to just kind of blow them away or shake the paper. And if they're being stubborn, just give them a little tap and then try shaking the paper again. And that gets rid of all the little cookie crumbs. So right here in my area, I'm just going to take a toothpick, a bamboo stick, or in my case right here, I have a paper clip that I unfolded, and you can just take that and use it to make whatever kind of design that you want. The next thing I'm going to be showing you is scumbling. So for scumbling, You want to pick some analogous colors, so colors that are next to each other on the color wheel. You just want to do either little C's or S's or little figure 8s. And you want to leave lots of open area so that you can scumble in your next color. And in those open areas, you can scumble in your next color. And you just keep going back and forth with your color family until you have the result that you like. And the very last thing that we're going to talk about is stippling. So with stippling, I like to tell my kids to not go too crazy, because what they love to do is just get the oil pastel and just start banging on that paper, and that results in lots of broken oil pastels, and it's really loud and annoying. So you just want to remind them to be gentle and that it's not a race. And the closer that your dots are to each other, that area will look darker. And the further your dots are from each other, the color will appear lighter. So those are some examples of how to use oil pastels. Here I have a cubist piece using oil pastels with lots of color layering and some color blending and stippling, and using a lot of the techniques that we just learned. Here I also have a kindergarten example, a second grade example, and a fourth grade example. I hope you all found this information very useful. Thank you for watching Art with Alicia. Make sure to hit the like and the subscribe button, and tune in next time. Bye everyone!